If Taxi Driver didn't hit you the way people claim, it's not on you. If it left you confused and cold, good. You're noticing something most people pretend they don't. And here's the fact nobody ever tells you. Even if Taxi Driver is a masterpiece, that doesn't put that above criticism. No movie ever is immune to criticism just because film students praises it. And yes, even you, a guy who's just watching this on weekend just for fun and a great story, can call it out. Because great films doesn't come from blind praises, they come from honest reactions. Everyone tells you that Taxi Driver is a psychological masterpiece. Well, technically it is. The shot, the music, the scores, the performance, all immaculate. And here's the part that nobody will tell you out loud, and that is the film doesn't give you anything to hold emotionally to. Sometimes it just feels cold, distant, and just boring. Hold on, because the next part is where the thing starts to click. Not a revelation, not a twist, just the piece you have been missing. So let's start with something that everyone praises, but not anyone can explain it. The score. Because Bernard and Herman doesn't just compose the music here, it messes with you. In one second, it feels warm and almost romantic, and in another second, it almost curdles into unsettling and uncomfortable kind of music. It's like the background music is just smiling at you with just having a knife behind you, perfectly capturing Travis without ever showing him. But here's the thing now, which actually made Taxi Driver, and if you remove it, the film just collapses. And the crazy part, you already feel it before it's actually said. It's the film quietly telling you that Travis is breaking without even using a single dialogue. Taxi Driver doesn't tell you that Travis is alone. It traps you inside it. The silence inside the car is a confession. The rearview mirror, the windshield, the traffic light reflections falling on his face are just a constant reminder that he's alone. He's a Vietnam veteran, working in the streets of the city he doesn't recognize anymore. Not struggling for money, but struggling for someone to care. And the film sits with that egg long before Travis ever admits. And here's the part you probably didn't notice. A deliberate choice that the filmmakers made, something that fits in this doom scrolling generation more than the 70s generation it was made for. And that is Travis being awake. Him not sleeping at the night just opens whole world of Taxi Driver to us. You see everything. The crime, the corruption, the political apathy, the rotting city from inside. A man searching for someone to save while drowning in contradictions. Morbid self-interest on the one side and the need to feel important through music, through politics and through anything on the other side. But here's the one thing in Taxi Driver that wasn't a creative choice. And yet it ended up making the film feel and look good than any movie today. Something accidental but absolutely perfect for Travis's world. Once you see it, you can't unsee. Not pristine, not clean, not cinematic by today's standards. But that rough texture in Taxi Driver makes it more grittier, more darker, and uncomfortably real. The crane doesn't show the city, it actually soaks you in it. It makes the streets feel humid, the nights feel longer, and for Travis, the world feels way too close to hell. And now we reach that one thing that nobody can deny. Even the critics, not you, not me, no one. And it wasn't a choice or an accident, but simply the undeniable greatness of the film. The part where the film just no more is a film, it becomes a mirror. This is where Taxi Driver steps into legends, its cultural impact. Travis Bickle became a symbol or the blueprint of any character or any story that is about isolation, rage, and a society that is quietly pushing someone towards the edge. You see it everywhere. In Joker, which isn't just inspired, it just echoes it. In Fight Club, in American Psycho, in every film that explores a lonely man spiraling into violence because the world simply shrugs. Travis becomes the symbol of alienation, fragile masculinity, and loneliness turning something dangerous. And whether you love the film or not, the influence is impossible to deny. But here's something fascinating, something almost hidden in the plain sight. Something the film never tells you, but you actually feel it in every second when Travis fall apart. It's the uncertainty. Taxi Driver never gives you a simple, plain answer about his morality and even the ending, if it was real or just a psychological break. And that, strangely, is what makes Taxi Driver so effective even today. Because in an era where the films just over-explains, hand-holds, Taxi Driver leaves you alone with your own thoughts, just like Travis with his own thoughts. The ambiguity, the discomfort, is why the film still is relevant to this age. Because it just sits in your head way past the credits. Because you can't just scroll past it. But there's still one thing that this film does that no film today in this modern era can afford to do. And that separates it from the rest of the movies all. And that is feminism. Yes, feminism. And don't worry, because it's not the feminism that you are familiar with today. It's something far more uncomfortable and honest. Taxi Driver shows a version of feminism where women aren't symbols or tropes or superheroes. They are people, complex, flawed and layered. Betsy isn't a prize. Iris isn't a victim to be saved. They're written with a kind of grounded autonomy that makes Travis's worldview collapse even more. And that is the feminist angle. The film exposes how dangerous it is when men have their own imaginary versions of women and then they get angry when the real woman refuses to match those fantasies. It's not preachy, it's not modern hashtag, it's raw. And it makes Travis uncomfortable, which is exactly the point. But even after all the praise, all the layers and all the deliberate craft, why is it not your fault and the fault of the movie? Because there is something hidden in the impact of Taxi Driver. Something that makes you misread, and it's not your fault. It's nothingness. I wouldn't lie. I couldn't feel anything. Hate, love, anger for Travis Bickle. But that's strange, right? Because this movie is a character study. And character studies usually pull off the emotions for the character. But here, it's like the film never wants you to connect with the character. I never felt, oh, Travis could have a better life with Betsy. Like, oh, no, I couldn't feel like that for Travis. Because the movie never lets that fantasy exist. There is no what if, no alternate path, and no warm space for hope. Travis is not a puzzle you solve. He's the void you observe. And that void shallows the emotions. That is exactly why Taxi Driver is not a great film for me, if not a masterpiece. But there are millions on the other side who felt the film, who enjoyed it and who call it a masterpiece or a great film. And I completely respect that because art hits everyone differently. And that's why this film and this video belongs to the playlist Films That Changed Filmmaking Forever. Because greatness doesn't require you to love it. It requires you to feel something. Even if that something is nothing. If you're still here till this point in this video, thanks.